Hey, everyone. This is Leland Best coming to you from Get Vocal today. Out here, got a special guest coming out, maybe 1, 2, 3, who knows. Going to talk about that thing that's going on over at Facebook right now, this Libra coin. So if you've seen this post out there, you're in the right place. We will be broadcasting here on Get Vocal with a Foursquare environment, and we'll be shooting it out to Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So if you're seeing us from there, please leave a comment in Facebook. If you don't want to join in the conversation, but want to just kind of include yourself in the engagement, feel free to do so, because I will be picking up the comments from Facebook and YouTube if anything's going on out there. We'll bring it in the conversation and take it from there. I'm hoping to bring some people in. We're going to have John Pretto from Las Vegas. We're looking at Alex Bertlin from Sweden, possibly Hassan Khan from Pakistan. Both of those last two that I mentioned happen to be council members for BitDepositary. We're going to get their edge from the Bitcoin community as well as John's edge, because he's been hodling this stuff for quite a while. So we'll get him out here right away and start talking about what we've got to cover today. But first, I'm going to play a short video for those of you who might not be familiar with Bitcoin or are kind of questioning what this whole Libra thing is. This video is not about Libra, but we'll discuss the comparison between crypto and Libra in just a moment. I just want, for those of you who aren't too familiar with how crypto works, this is a short video for all of you.
What is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is the first decentralized digital currency. Bitcoins are digital coins you can send through the internet. Compared to other alternatives, Bitcoins have a number of advantages. Bitcoins are transferred directly from person to person via the net, without going through a bank or clearinghouse. This means that the fees are much lower, you can use them in every country, your account cannot be frozen, and there are no prerequisites or arbitrary limits. Let's look at how it works. Bitcoins are generated all over the internet by anybody running a free application called a Bitcoin miner. Mining requires a certain amount of work for each block of coins. This amount is automatically adjusted by the network such that Bitcoins are always created at a predictable and limited rate. Your Bitcoins are stored in your digital wallet, which might look familiar if you use online banking. When you transfer Bitcoins, an electronic signature is added. After a few minutes, the transaction is verified by a miner and permanently and anonymously stored in the network. The Bitcoin software is completely open source and anybody can review the code. Bitcoin is changing finance the same way the web changed publishing. When everyone has access to a global market, great ideas flourish. Let's look at some examples of how Bitcoins are already used today. You can purchase video games, gifts, books, servers, and alpaca socks. Several currency exchanges exist where you can trade your Bitcoins for dollars, euros, and more. Bitcoins are a great way for small businesses and freelancers to get noticed.
Okay. I think you guys get the point. All right, so I got you to the point where at least you understand what Bitcoin is, where it comes from, and we didn't get into the intricacies of it, obviously, but that's just an overview from about the 30,000 foot level. So I'm going to get John in here. Oh, we got videos playing in the background. Looks like it's basketball time. Let's get rid of that. I was taking that off of YouTube, so I apologize for that. It just started to replay. John, I'm going to get you in here right away, so go ahead and grab a spot. We're going to go with the regular Foursquare here as we start this conversation about Libra versus crypto. What you got for us?
Good morning for me. I don't know about you. It's hodling. I've been hodling Bitcoin for a long time.
Yes, that's what
I don't even know what hodling means. Is that a real word?
It is. It's like the hold it until it's really worth something idea, and they just reversed some letters around because it was misspelled on a tweet I think one day, wasn't it?
Gotcha.
So we had a little conversation start up because I shared an article about whether or not Bitcoin, and this is Alex Bertlin popping in from Sweden. He happens to be a council member on BitDepositary. So, Alex, thanks for coming in from Sweden today. I really appreciate it. It looks beautiful over there, man. What's up?
I'm in Denmark right now, but yeah, it's beautiful.
Very cool. So if you saw the post, Alex, I know you jumped in at the last minute. I was making mention that there's people out there talking, especially in the monetary industry, where you're the banking industry, let's call it what it is, about this fear that Facebook's Libra is a Trojan horse. Now, I'm going to let John take this first because he was the one that we started the conversation with, and he disagrees. So, John, what's your take on Libra in itself? Is it really a Trojan horse or not?
Well, that's a loaded question, and it's a complex answer. We could talk for hours about this.
We might.
Important to this development of Libra. First of all, Facebook's been working on this for years. Mm-hmm. So have banks. So has Visa. So has MasterCard. And so there's a paradigm shift in the finance community from a centralized model to a decentralized model. And interestingly enough, Libra has chosen to be a hybrid. What's interesting about this, first of all, I've been mining Bitcoin since 2010. Bitcoin's birthday was this January. It's 10 years old. A lot of people don't understand it. It's been around that long. I started mining in 2010, didn't have any idea what I was doing. And then in 2014, my partner and I saw that this is the future of finance. And we actually spent 2 years flying around the world, meeting with people, and developed our own coin and developed our own blockchain based upon the graphene product. And we're a hard fork off of the graphene model, which is basically the BitShares blockchain, graphene. And so we wrote our white paper in 2014, published it in 2016, and we too thought a hybrid approach was the way to go. A fully decentralized model for finance was too aggressive, we thought. And to go from a centralized model after 200 years, at least in the United States, to a fully decentralized model, we thought was too aggressive. And we thought that a hybrid model made more sense right in the middle, that had both components of centralization and decentralization. And it was tickled to see that Facebook's white paper reads a lot like our white paper, which was written 5 years ago. And so they're using a lot of the same architecture that we proposed back then. But their partnership of Visa and MasterCard, PayPal says a lot about where they're headed and what they're going to do. I consider Libra not to be a cryptocurrency as we know it and love it in a fully decentralized model like Bitcoin, but more, at least in the beginning, when you say a Trojan horse, this is my evolution of where I think they're going. They're a payment platform. So Libra to me is a payment platform. It's going to be very mature. It's going to be widely accepted. And it's going to start out in the underdeveloped countries and for the under and non-banked. And that's where they're starting this push, is into that marketplace. Yeah. You know, they talk about their blockchain. They talk about Libra.org, which is their centralization organization where there's members of their organization. There's a lot of information that they haven't talked about yet. So there's a lot of blanks still yet to be filled in. But Libra as a payment platform, notice who's not part of their partnership, of their wheel of partners, are any of the banks. The banks are the big losers in this push for Libra. You know, payments have been around for a long time. You can send money in Messenger today, just like you can in WeChat. And so they're going to offer that. You know, they're going to offer that in WhatsApp and in Messenger as a payment platform. And it's going to be very easy. I'm going to be able to load money. And here's the win. The win is everybody's going to have the wallet on their phone already. So if you have the Facebook on your phone, you're going to have the digital wallet. That's the win. Today, I have to download a wallet onto my phone, or I have to use one of the online exchanges. And that's a huge hurdle for people to overcome. Download this wallet, create your key. Trust me, I know. I've given away Bitcoin all over the world. Every time I travel, I introduce people to Bitcoin. Download this app on your phone, create your key. Don't lose your key, which is the funny thing. I can't tell you how many of my friends.
How many keys you've lost?
You know what? I
lost one.
I make people sign an agreement now because I had one of my friends tried to come back after me for $5,000. He lost his key after me being very adamant about him losing that key. He's like, well, can't you call the company up and get that key? It just, people don't understand. And so when you download the Facebook app, you're going to have a digital wallet on your phone. You're going to be able to load money onto that wallet, and you're going to be able to spend that anywhere in the world with other Facebook users. And so that's the 30,000-foot elevation of Libra and where it's headed. And I'm very excited because I think it's going to be a powerful payment platform over the next decades to come. It's going to take first of all, it's not going to be available till next year, and it's going to be utilized mostly in the developing countries. And so that's really stop there.
Yeah, that's kind of really if the government doesn't step in from a lot of different places and try to help the steps that are being taken. So let's take a little bit on the opposite side of that coin. We've got Alex Bertlin in the house, one of the BitDepositary Council members. So I appreciate you being here today from Denmark. Alex, give us your take, just straight up, from what you're familiar with being decentralized in that environment of almost the anarchist level. I know how you roll. You like to get out there and shake the trees a little bit. So what is your take on Libra and how it's coming out into the market? Is this a threat to Bitcoin that you feel, or is this just kind of a fluke? What are you seeing happen?
Well, thanks for having me on the call. Also, thanks to John for the discussion. I mostly agree with John, actually. I think it's going to be a good payment platform. I don't think it's going to have any competition with Bitcoin because it's a totally different thing. In the crypto community, we use Bitcoin because it's private. I mean, we have the full control. If you use Libra, you don't have the full control. It's not going to work like that. In the end, it's a private company. They're doing what they like to do. They're creating equity from thin air, which is fine by me. I don't care about that. So I agree mostly with John there, but I don't think they are going to be very successful targeting the non-banked in third world countries and so on. They will just get they're going to get super stuck in regulation, and they're going to get smacked down on that. I think no government is going to allow to bank 1 billion people, even though it's just small money. I don't think it's going to happen, sadly. Because John knows this as well. In the advent of Bitcoin, we talked about banking the unbanked, but it's been the other way around. It's been unbanking the banked. So kind of a comedy if you look at what we spoke about originally.
Yeah.
But regarding Libra, I think it's going to be a good platform. I mean, it's not for investments. It's just going to be for payment. A lot of people in the crypto space are doing it for money. Just to be clear,
that was just my first concern. I think is that the people who are in Bitcoin, all right, are typically the hodlers, the ones who are saving it as with the hopes that it's going to shoot to 1 million in the next 5 years or whatever. And then you've got those who don't know anything about Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, and they're being introduced with Libra. So is this going to make a stepping stone for people to move into crypto, or is it going to kind of deter people from that and put them on a whole nother path that's going to make things more difficult for people to understand what cryptocurrencies really are? John, you want to step in on that?
Yeah, so this is interesting. I guess we were supposed to fight, Alex, and not agree, but
no.
Sounds like we agree more than fight.
I wanted to see. No, let me tell you the whole premise behind this, John. When you mentioned let's bring it to the table, I was like, okay, I really was using that as clickbait. I was trying to get people to talk about Libra and just discuss it. So now that's what we're doing. We're kind of talking about. Well, I think there's so much on both sides of the coin. People screaming it sucks. People saying it's not decentralized. Other people saying, no, this is perfect. This is what we need. I want to get everybody's opinion and see what the story behind it is all about.
I live this life. Our model was not a fully decentralized model, and all the decentralized guys hated us. I mean, with fervor. It's religious argument. I'm a huge proponent of Bitcoin. I hold Bitcoin. A significant amount. I've been mining for a long time. In fact, I got a meeting today with the largest miner in Nevada. He's got over 9 million in miners here in Las Vegas.
Wow.
Hidden. A lot of people don't even know this guy's here. He owns 3 different data centers. And so I'm a huge proponent of the fully decentralized model. Trust me, I'm no lover of banks. Banks hate crypto. The banks have a list where they have the guys that are big in the crypto world that they're denying bank accounts. I've had several bank accounts closed because I'm one of the crypto guys. And I'm telling you, in 5 years from now, there's going to be this huge story where the banks try to thwart the true decentralized nature of crypto while they're developing their own product lines. One of the largest holders of patents in blockchain and crypto is Bank of America. So they're speaking out both sides of their mouth. They're churning off bank accounts of guys that are in crypto, trying to thwart our efforts. And in the same time, they're developing their own product lines because they know they can't stop this new method, which is extremely efficient. Now, talk about efficiency. Alex and I can talk about this, which is one of the key factors of a payment platform versus a medium of exchange or a medium of value, store of value, is Bitcoin's blockchain was never designed to be transactional. And so that's a huge problem with Bitcoin, to be a transactional product, because its blockchain was never designed to do that. Libra's will. And so Libra will have a very high volume of simultaneous transactions where Bitcoin's not. Now, some of the forks and some of the other technology has been developed to address that fact. But as a payment platform, you have different attributes than you do with Bitcoin as a store of value.
Gotcha. All right, Alex, what are your thoughts then? Being someone who's been watching, I've been watching CoinCap for the last couple of days, and obviously the prices on Bitcoin have been going up and down, up and down. We can't really say whether it's going to correct itself over the next month or the next year. What are we looking at? I saw it peak at about 13,000 the other day.
13.7
today?
I have it sitting right in front of me.
Oh, that's where it's at right now?
No, right now it's 11.7.
Okay, so it's coming back down. Where do you think it's going to head from here, Alex?
Well, it's impossible to say. I mean, you follow the Facebook
word on the street.
If we knew that, we would be trillionaires.
Yeah, if you look at these old Forex traders, they use these old methods that is proven in Forex market, and they're applying it to crypto. It's just
making me laugh, Alex.
Yeah, no, it's a new, untested market without regulation, and they think, oh, it's Bollinger Bands telling me, and they're very outspoken in these groups.
I love it.
People are probably losing money. Maybe some of them are getting some money, but I think it's a dangerous situation for people just to use these old methods and to predict this market.
He's right.
Yeah. There are too many big players involved that is not regulated. So it could go either way. So I don't know. I hope it will go up.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because so many people think they know which direction it's going, and I know you're not one of those people. So I just wanted to let the rest who are watching that think you can follow trading practices and figure out Bitcoin, you're a little off. Sure, there's all kinds of ups and downs and whistles and flags that pop up on the track, but they're not always going to work. If there is anyone else,
Leland,
I just wanted to mention one thing
about one thing about Libra that is speaking highly against it, and that is they have no community engagement like Bitcoin has. You will never be able to engage in the community to make changes and to contribute as a miner, for example. That feeling will never exist in Libra. So with education, I think it could swing in the Bitcoin's favor if we're talking like a battle, So what do you say?
I totally agree. And for those of you who don't know what's coming up under me, these are comments coming in from Facebook or YouTube, depending on where they're at. You'll see the little icon below the face. But I appreciate those who are watching out on Facebook Live, which is where we are broadcasting to. Besides Get Vocal, we're out on Facebook Live at Leland Best Live and out at YouTube at Best at YouTube. So check it out. Leave some comments if you'd prefer to watch it from that location rather than from here. But if you are here at Get Vocal and want to sit down and join this conversation, please grab a seat. There's one open, and we'll just kind of round robin this. If anybody has any questions for John and Alex, I don't know how long can you guys stick around here, because I was planning on probably an hour show if we got enough to talk about. But
an hour,
wrap this up.
Yeah, I can do.
Right.
I can do that.
I need to cut short in maybe 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, that's all good. Hey, Elizabeth, what's up? I got a good friend of mine from Facebook popping into the scene as well. So Lars over there on Facebook says, I use chemtrails to protect price.
Chemtrails. I love it. That's a whole nother hour show.
Yeah, it could be for sure, since they announced they really exist. But so let me just touch on a couple things. A friend of mine who is Muhammad Hassan Khan, who is a person in Pakistan who is with works a lot with Alex in BitDepositary as council members. So they're right at the pulse and heartbeat of everything that's going on in crypto between Pakistan and Sweden. A lot of really cool international lines are being crossed in crypto markets over in that end of the world. So he wrote an article, and I'm just going to leave a link here in the chat. For those of you that are on Get Vocal, you'll get that first opportunity to take a look. This was his write-up on Hacker Moon about Libra and whether or not it's a currency of the people versus a currency of the corporation. So I think we do pretty much obviously see that, looking at that wheel to my left there, or right, depending on which way you're looking at me, that this is a corporate structure. Everybody involved in this, Stripe, PayPal, eBay, you name it, everybody is a corporation. So how does that affect it going forward? Is that going to limit our capabilities? Are we going to get squashed on access in any time? Are they going to be able to take control of this money and say, okay, you don't have access to it anymore? Where are our security measures in place? Do we have a FICA? Do we have some type of insurance that this money's safe? Has there been any talk about that? Either one of you got a comment on that?
I was waiting to hear. So you just articulated the features of a decentralized platform versus a centralized. And so our money has been centralized through central banks. Here in our country, it's the Fed. Everything goes through the Fed. Every time there's a transaction larger than $10,000, the Feds get notified, and everything is watched. You're watched like a hawk. With Bitcoin, you have a semi-anonymous transaction. If the police or the Feds get a hold of your wallet address, they can track your transactions. When you go to bitcoin.org and you download the software, you download the entire ledger. It's the analogy I give is like Napster. So when Napster came out, people were downloading the Napster application, and they were able to share music on their local machines, and everybody had bits and pieces of the songs on their local machines. Bitcoin is kept on the blockchain, right? So the coins aren't held in your personal computer or your phone. There's a ledger that says how much Bitcoin you have, and it's stored on the blockchain. I don't know how big the file is now. The last time I downloaded it, it was 60 gigabytes. Alex, how big is the blockchain these days? I haven't looked at it in a bit.
I don't know.
Yeah. And so the Feds can do bad things. The banks they have done bad things. The banks get fined all the time. I was part of the I guess the defendants in the case against Wells Fargo, I went into the bank and they made me open up 4 accounts. Remember, they got busted for like $2 billion fine for that. Those are the kinds of things that the banking industry has done for years and years and years. And with Bitcoin, there is no Bitcoin company. There is no Bitcoin CEO. It's fully decentralized. That model is much more efficient, and the transactions are all based on mathematics and not some ledger in a bank or at the Federal Reserve.
Okay, well, I found a comment out on the internet. I Googled to find out how big that blockchain really is, and it's at 210 gigabytes as of April 2019.
Yeah.
So it's already doubled at least in size since you last saw it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it continues to grow. And that's one of the things I think we'll see. You know, what are we going to know about what's going on the back end of Libra? Alex, let's get Don. We got Don in the house. Don's over in Denmark as well. So you guys aren't too far apart from each other right now. Don, what do you got to say about this Libra thing? I know you've always got a voice on this stuff. So what do you think?
I was just reading the white paper, and in the first paragraph of the backing on that I posted, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you. It's fine.
Okay. So in the first paragraph, they're talking about the backing. What are the actual assets that will be backing each Libra coin? The actual assets will be a collection of low volatility assets, including bank deposits and government securities in currencies from stable and reputable central banks, as the value of Libra will be effectively linked to a basket of fiat currencies.
Yes.
So that right there says a lot, because they do have that. I would imagine that all of the financial people over at Facebook want to make sure that they're going to be creating something that's going to be stable.
It's called a stable coin for those specific reasons.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so using that method, they minimize volatility. And for a payment platform, you need stable market value, unlike a store of value, which is based upon it's backed by nothing, just like our dollar is, just like most currencies. There's only 2 currencies in the world that are backed by something. You guys know which countries? That's my trivia question for the day. Maybe JS knows. I told him once.
I thought Japan was still banging, but China's one that's going back to metals, aren't they?
No, there's only 2 in the world left that are backed.
Who's buying up all the gold? Russia's was one of them, weren't they? They were still buying up gold.
It's not gold. They're not using gold. It's not.
Oh, really?
Gold. Nope.
I just want to ask whoever has Don, you don't have any headphones on. Could you do me the favor, or somebody's I'm picking up feed from all of us on speakers, and it's coming back in the video, and this is all being recorded. So I'd appreciate if people do what they can. You're on a cell, Alex. There's not much you can do unless you got some headphones or iPods there or something.
I'm not muting myself when I'm not speaking, so it's not.
Oh, okay, you're cool. Yeah, I could hear it through Don then. All right, well, let's then. I just want to cover some of the questions that came out, like you mentioned, and we talked about the difference between the decentralization of both units. So let's just ask 5 simple questions with regards to Libra versus crypto. Is it open? No. Is it public? No. Is it borderless? No. And is it decentralized? No. And the last, is it censorship resistant? This is the one I think most people in the Bitcoin community are most worried about, is its ability to kind of determine who gets access to the nodes. You want to shoot at that, Alex? Tell me what you think.
Well, I don't know, actually. I think that remains to be seen. Of course, it could possibly be, targeted for censorship, but we don't know.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, so I mean, everything that is controlled by a private company is under, subjection of control. Yeah. So we can just assume it could be that way, right?
Yeah, I think so. And I just wanted to make certain, because people are screaming, it's not decentralized, it's not private, it's not this, it's not that. Well, we know that. That's obvious. That's the thing that makes it not like crypto at all. And we're just trying to explain the differences, because everybody wants to think this is Facebook's cryptocurrency. Well,
right.
It's not.
It's not.
Totally wrong.
Two things to add to that, Leland. First of all, some pieces of their software are going to be published, and they already are. So they've published some code up on GitHub now. We expect further code to be published. My guys are reviewing the code right now. Right now, they've got a testing platform. It's basically a payment platform, number one. Number two, open source. The other thing that you said now just flew right out of my head. But there was another thing that you enumerated there that's actually not completely true. So
the public.
I'll remember. Keep going.
Well, as far as borderless goes, the one thing I realized when I saw one of the other articles that came out.
I remember.
Go ahead.
Okay. So they've developed this partnership, and if you read their white paper, you can become a member of the Libra.org, and you got and at that point you can run your own transactional based node.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
that makes sense. I was going somewhere else with this too, and
it's only borderless if it's available in every country. Facebook is closed in China, for example, so it's not borderless.
And not only that, but India, which is their biggest emerging market on Facebook and WhatsApp right now, even probably Instagram, is going to be stuck with the fact that India is so against Bitcoin. It's created so many legal issues over in that country. People try to mine it. They can be thrown in prison or fined up to 10 grand. There's all kinds of other things happening in India. So how are they going to convince the government of India to say, no, this isn't Bitcoin. This is going to work. This is something you need to help, develop your economy. But then there's others screaming, no, this makes it impossible for someone with a country-based economy that says we post sanctions against other countries to help bring peace to the world. I'm not really sure what it does in essence all the time, but the fact is when you have a currency that kind of undermines that government ability to say, look, we're not going to let you use our money for that reason, that you're squandering it for whatever, or you're laundering it or what have you. So how are they going to convince a country like India to participate when there's 200 million people coming on Facebook, every day from there? It's kind of nuts.
Who is the largest country in the world?
Largest country?
Yeah.
Well, the largest country would be Russia, would it not?
The largest country right now is Facebook.
Well, that's true. If you're going to go there.
So if anybody can pull that fight off, we couldn't because we were too small. Guess what? Our model was identical to what Facebook has announced, although we had more cryptocurrency features. Our crypto was actually a real crypto, but we had centralization features to it. Facebook is more of a payment platform and backed by assets that Don just enumerated. And so if anybody can pull this off on a global basis, it would be Facebook. That's why they put that partnership together, to fight governments and to make it happen. So it's going to be interesting. Yeah. Alex said it in his opening remarks. He says it's going to be regulated like crazy. It is. It's going to be a giant fight over the next decade.
Yeah, probably true.
Also,
good morning to Carlos.
I don't remember what country it was, but it was a couple of years ago. There was some issues in the country. There was some, uprising. And during that time period, they closed down all social media. So will Libra be affected by, when a government chooses to close down some things?
Yeah.
So, it cannot be overly adopted with that risk in mind.
That's true. Mm-hmm. That's absolutely true. Look, it's taken Bitcoin 10 years to get where it is today. 10 years. Mm-hmm. So they've got a long road ahead.
So let's get into the difference there too. This isn't really on a standard blockchain. It's somewhat created on the app-based platform of Ethereum, isn't it not? Or is it not? Is the structure of it more like Ethereum?
They haven't fully divulged. It's not. I don't think it is based on ERC20 based platform. I think they're developing their own platform. They have not yet published those details. Not that we've seen yet.
Okay. I think they have their own language, right? Their own coding language.
They developed their own scripting language on top of the blockchain. Yes, called Move, M-O-V.
Now, what about the cap on this? Are they going to have the ability to dispense unlimited amounts of Libra? Or are they going to actually put a cap on this? Has there been any talk on that?
No, I don't think they're not going to put a cap.
Back by currency. So who is going to decide where is the currency? How much is it?
Right.
So it's like a bank right now. Who knows?
Yes, correct. So unlike Bitcoin, which is finite in nature, which creates value for the coin because of scarcity, that's not what we're talking about here. As a payment platform, it has a different set of features.
Yeah.
So it's basically a digital asset when it comes down to it, in a sense, because You're not looking at it to grow in value. It's not
No.
going to gain any kind of interest. It's a flat dispensed amount of currency. So,
Correct.
makes sense. All right. Anything else you guys would like to add to this? Because I see now, are they going to actually mint like they do? You know, we got a picture here of this lady holding a Bitcoin thing. Has there been any talk of them actually converting this into some type of hard currency that could be used, or is everything going to go digital? I mean,
no, but I'm glad you brought that term up. That's the term that we use for Dogecoin minting. We do not mine because we use a different mode other than a proof of work. Bitcoin is the most.
I got a good one for that.
Bitcoin is the most wasteful product on the planet today. The amount of power that's being used to mine the product. In fact, the mining reward goes down next year. 14 months from now, it goes down again. And so that's an interesting milestone in the history of Bitcoin. But the terminology of mining versus minting is an interesting perspective of the difference in the features of Bitcoin as a true cryptocurrency using proof of work versus minting, where computers actually create the actual token itself.
And I found this. Yeah, I found this graphic online, and you could probably explain this better than I can. I just noticed that this showed the comparisons and differences between the different coins that are out there now.
Yep.
Ripple seems to be the one I've been hearing could take the biggest hit thanks to Libra. I know the JP Morgan coin I'm not even familiar with, but then we've got Ethereum and EOS at the end of that. So can you kind of walk us through this a little bit, John or Alex, whichever wants to take this? And
go ahead, Alex.
Give a heads up on how this works.
Very small for me, so.
Oh, you're on a mobile device, isn't it? Basically, what it's showing is that Bitcoin has the permissionless access, the open source, the consensus mechanism is obviously proof of work, like John just spoke of. And then we've got the programmable aspect, it's censorship resistant, it's predictable supply.
So
and there's no sovereign entity.
We're missing the first column of labels on the left-hand side, Leland.
Can't see that?
At least I am. Let me open up my browser. Okay, it's truncated off. I can see permission.
Oh, on mobile it is. Okay. All right.
No, on desktop. On desktop too. I can't see the first column.
Really?
Can you move it over to the right?
Get Vocal needs to work on
there. You go.
sizing.
There you go. Got it.
It's not scaling.
I can see it now. I had to open up my browsers.
Okay. Gotcha.
So permissionless, open sourced, certain components. That's why it's orange under Libra. Consensus mechanism, yes. Proof of work. Programmable. Censorship resistant, no Libra, because it's based upon the Libra.org.
You got to be brought in.
And sovereign, yes. Well, you know what? This is exactly a religious argument, just like Microsoft versus Linux was in the open days. Fully open source versus closed source software. And that's the same kind of approaches that people are taking to the new finance. Let's call it Finance 2.0, right? And so, which one's better and which one's worse? I don't know. We'll see which one's better. Microsoft is still around and Linux is still around. There's components of both. We thought it made sense to have a hybrid during a transition period, and it was too early to go fully decentralized. Trust me, I'm more of a decentralized guy than a centralized guy by far. I'm part of the decentralized crowd. And we thought it made sense to have some features of centralization in the model to bridge the gap to get to a fully decentralized model.
Well, that's like the difference between a libertarian and a Republican.
Yeah,
centralized and centralized.
For all you who don't recognize the wall, this is J.S. Gilbert.
It's the man behind the curtain.
The voice of all voices, because you never see his face.
The omnipotent voice from below, actually.
I think,
welcome to the broadcast,
Jeff. People want to have a person or a company or something that's trustworthy, relatable, whatever.
Yes.
That's behind all this. So the full aspect of decentralization is still extremely scary to most people.
Yeah. True.
But I think where Facebook is going to succeed is they're just going to make this, like they have basically with the social media platform, super convenient, super easy. This will be woven into your daily fabric of everything that you do. And so to a certain extent, when email first came out, people said, I don't want email, I have a phone. And now virtually everybody has email. I think that's what we're going to probably see with a Facebook. And you're absolutely right. You have to look at countries no longer defined by borders. So for all intents and purposes, yes, Facebook is the largest country out there. Although I think Amazon probably is the largest economy.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Oh, I agree with that.
And there was a comment in the set. Well, that was you that mentioned that, wasn't it, JS? To wait till Amazon steps into the fold because they are not part of this right now. Their name does not show up as a logo in that circle, so they've got other plans.
Amazon's got a whole lot of plans that are going on, some of which are semi-public, and I know people that work for Amazon. So they're in a huge phase right now that's taking tons and tons of resources. But they're hoping within the next 18 months, they actually will be, as a shipping company, shipping more than FedEx and UPS combined. Yeah. And they will be your shipping company. You've been complaining, I can't ship stuff as cheap as Amazon can. Well, you may not be able to do it exactly as cheap as they are, but wait, you're going to see rates coming down and service going up. And FedEx and UPS are going to, they can't fight them, so they're going to have to join them. And
so what about Microsoft? Where are they at in all this?
Microsoft? I would say probably of all the companies that I'm familiar with that are in that top echelon, so you've got Apple, Microsoft, Facebook,
Oracle.
They're probably spending the least amount of money on R&D of any of them, and probably spending the least amount of money out of their central focus. So you have Google, which is spending more money on like space exploration and underwater exploration and fractals and all kinds of things that have nothing to do with their central businesses. Whereas Microsoft still kind of is pretty much, running that same sort of linear pattern that they have for years. I don't see a break in it, really.
I can tell you what Microsoft's spending money on. They have their own blockchain service on Azure. So does Amazon.
Oh well, yeah, of course, yeah, AWS, yeah, of course, yeah. So nobody's not looking at blockchain, and where Microsoft, I think, is really going to pull away from the pack is in super dense storage. So there will be a point pretty soon within the next 5 to 10 years where you'll be able to take an entire NOC and put it in your pocket. And Microsoft will certainly be a driving force behind that. And then Microsoft is also involved in leading the way. They are working with Intel to get down to a 2-nanometer form factor for dies. So that's two areas that so I shouldn't say they're not moving away from their central business, but it's a lot different than I think some of these other companies are doing.
And that's where I think it's at. It's all about the security and the adoption, because they have the platform, they have the infrastructure to help everyone adopt this immediately. It's not like it's going to take forever for people to get their wallets started and start sharing. I mean, I've used the IM payment feature, which is simply add a dollar sign and the amount you want to ship to someone, connect your bank account, and you're instantly paid on Facebook. Yep. No fees, no nothing. It was, when I first used that, it was like, oh my God, why have I been using PayPal all these years? There's no reason I should even touch that site anymore.
And most people don't know it's
yeah.
So how is PayPal going to work this out? And Stripe, where are they? I guess my big question is, these corporations are all coming in. We've got this platform for monetizing a cryptocurrency, let's just call it that for now, that'll be used as a payment gateway through Facebook. Has he got to go? Sorry, Alex, I guess we missed him.
He said he had 20 minutes ago. That was 20 minutes ago. So.
Oh well.
So where do they benefit in the end? Like PayPal was charging 3.5% to make transactions. Now what are they going to charge? How are they going to charge? Where are they going to get their money from?
I have an opinion. My opinion, this is a hedge for Visa and for PayPal and for MasterCard. And they're in early. And so it's a hedge. It's totally my opinion. But it makes sense for them to hedge against Finance 2.0.
Well, I think PayPal is making money right now the same way that a lot of these other places are doing that. They're usury. They're Shylocks. That's what it's come down to. So PayPal now makes more money from charging interest on credit than they probably do on their transaction fees. But if you look at it, the average individual right now who has a personal credit card debt is paying 24% for that money.
Is that right?
They used to call that land sharking back when I was a kid.
Loan sharking.
Or loan sharking. That's what I meant to say.
So when you look at the scenario, PayPal has issued more credit cards in the last 24 months than Discover Card, and
every time you log in, they have a credit card there.
Yeah, so
that's true.
Crazy.
That's basically, so they're moving as well, but just realize that everybody's looking at business models differently, and where would Amazon be if they came up with a currency? Well, where are the financial transactions that are happening in Facebook? And yes, you can, or you can use Facebook and Apple Pay and stuff like that. But Amazon has more clear-cut covenants. Their transactions are covenants, meaning a covenant is if you pay for goods or services straight out. And Amazon's got more than just about everybody else combined, maybe not Walmart or Walmart Online. So when you look at those transactions, they are ideally suited for moving people into digital units of value. I'm not going to use the term cryptocurrency. I'm just going to say digital units of value, and hopefully people understand what that means. So if, for example, Amazon said right now, we're going to give you an account, you put $100 USD equivalent into that account, and we will give you 120 Amazon bucks that you spend on our site.
Yep.
They would then, at that point, become the world's largest bank, probably within 90 days. So, but there's, again, it's unfortunate. It's like what John realized out there, and that is cowardice, impotent, stupid people are in charge of the monetary funds for almost every country, and they are afraid. And so the way they deal with this is they create legislation to keep the status quo, because the status quo is a lot less scary than who's going to be the rich people in the future, whatever. So, hey, here's this stuff called Dogecoin, and guess what? They're cryptocurrency and they're multi-level marketing, and we love to screw with both of those business models. So let's screw with them righteously. And despite trying to do everything right and having 1,000, what you have, about 1,000 lawyers working for you, John? Yeah. Despite that, they just, a bunch of people who don't know shit from Shinola sit around and go, oh, you know what? Let's make this illegal. And then what are you supposed to do? So I watch a lot of businesses that get regulated out of business, and it sucks. Yeah. That's what happened to Sidecar. And then, of course, when Uber moved in, they realized the big issue. So they filled up their war chests with money to pay for a PAC and for legal and so forth. But they knew that their downfall could be getting legislated out of business, and that's why they also diversified. So I think Facebook is going to find ways of tying their currency, if you will, into lots of different parts of their business. And I think Facebook is probably going to be coming up with premium services too very soon.
Oh, sure. Yeah, they'll have to have some ways for you to maintain your finances with this whole new way to spend money coming into the picture. So it looks like we lost Alex over in Denmark, and I apologize if I left him out of the conversation there for a little bit. I know he was going to take off early anyway, so we probably won't see too much of him. If there's anyone here in the chat on Get Vocal that would like to join this conversation, the seat's open. Feel free to hop in. We'd love to have your opinion. Come on.
We need Colin on here.
Is Colin here? Is finally show up?
Well, he's got a degree in economics. He's the most educated one of the bunch.
Where is he? Well, he must be busy. So if anyone doesn't have any questions,
in advertising, does that count?
Yeah.
No,
I mean, for me, I don't even hold crypto really. I tried playing around with cloud mining. I tried messing around with stuff, and I've watched this stuff grow over the last 10 years. Like you said, it's just I never took the right opportunity to jump in and make something out of it and benefit from it. So what would you tell the people now who are seeing 10,000 as the price, and let's just put it in that perspective right now, about 10,000, should they consider getting in now on Bitcoin, or just maybe start with Libra, or should they wait it out for a little bit and see how everything happens if they're looking to invest in this type of atmosphere? What do you think?
There's a crypto expert right there.
Hey, JJ, what's up?
What's up? I don't know about crypto.
You just got here. Go ahead and give us your opinion on this whole Libra thing.
I think it's great. It's great for mass adoption, right? Anything that brings more money into the space and creates more awareness is good. This run, I mean, we had a huge bull run in 2017-18, right? And then we got smashed for everyone that was in it. I made well over $1 million in 2 months, right? In the space. So there's a lot of money to be had, but you got to time it right? So I think now we are moving. We were capitulating for the last 17 months. And I think we're moving into price discovery again. More institutional money's coming in. We're getting closer to mass adoption, I think. We're still at like 1.4% of the world that even knows about cryptocurrency. Right? The biggest problem with crypto inherently is the barriers to entry. I mean, it's not easy to, a lot of people still think they have to buy a full Bitcoin to even get involved. So they're like, oh, Bitcoin's $11,000. I can't do anything with this. They don't know it's fractional, right? So I think there's a lot of problems inherent with crypto in the sense that there's just a big learning curve, right? I mean, how do I get a wallet? How do I transfer funds from one wallet to another, right? I had a buddy who lost $20,000 because he sent one cryptocurrency to the wrong wallet. Bye-bye, right? Yeah. There's no intermediary. So it's the best and worst part about the whole space, right? There's no bank to come back and be like, oh, I sent this to the wrong thing. Will you give me my money back? No, you're fucked, right? So it's a big boy world. And that's the best and worst part about it, I guess, right? So moving forward, I think we're finally seeing what another bull market's going to be.
What happens if you forget your password?
Your password for what?
For your wallet.
What happens
you
if
can bring it back with your 10-word code?
I don't know. It's the same thing, right? So it's about accepting responsibility, I guess. Now there's no intermediaries, right? I think a big problem with the world today, it's like even when I bought this house a couple months ago, it's like I had to wait for some title company weeks, months to clear it, to make sure there were no liens on it, and so on and so forth, right? Why can I not just have this transparent ledger that shows me that there's never been any issues with this house? No one has any outstanding liens on it. Nothing is wrong. I have this money in an escrow, or it's verified, and then they have the title of this house. Why can I not conduct this transaction in 2 seconds with both sides being verified? I don't need.
That's another funny thing that you bring up there, because you have two completely separate things: cryptocurrency and the blockchain.
Yeah.
It's not though, because crypto is just a use case for the technology.
But I think that you've got a lot of businesses out there that are as afraid, if not more afraid, of the blockchain than it is of any level of digital.
It should be afraid of the blockchain. The blockchain is the entire technology, right? We don't care about crypto. Crypto is just a way for people like me to make money and utilize the actual underlying technology, right? I don't really give a shit about crypto other than the fact that it's great to send money and it's great to make money.
Blockchain, if you now have mass adoption of the blockchain as a responsible reporting device for everything from the medical industry to finances and so on and so forth, what happens to your black market, your gray market? What happens to all the corrupt governments? What happens to selling arms? What
Yeah.
happens to drug sales? What happens to all that kind of stuff? Because there are a lot of people that say the earth is fueled a lot more by black and gray markets than it is by legal actions.
I would think. They had an interesting that was brought up as an interesting topic on a Battlestar Galactica show one time years ago. If you guys remember that from back in the day, yeah, because everyone was running a black market on one of their ships, and they had no control over what was going on. But the fact of the matter was, is people were suffering because they couldn't get access to the elitists' method of access. So the black market serves those who don't have that elitist access, and that's just the way it is around the world. People get what they need however they have to get it, and that's where they're going to get
So
it.
you're talking about again, and the question you asked, I guess before JJ came on, was what is this about in terms of investing for an average person or something like that?
Yeah.
The two figures to look at are the 5 wealthiest individuals in the United States right now have more wealth than the bottom 50% of the country.
Mm-hmm.
And the average individual, this is in an article in the Washington Post from 2017, that they did a study, and it was exhaustive, a lot of people. And they found that the average American could not pay an unexpected bill of $400, like a medical bill or car repair, without either going into debt, consumer credit, something like that, or having to sell an asset. So when it comes to investing, I think a big problem we have is that most people in this country are not in a position where they should even be looking at this level of investment. It's like they say, if you don't have it to lose, don't do it.
I agree with that sentiment as well. But I also will say, as a juxtaposition, there's no other asset class that will make you money as quickly or lose it for you as quickly as this class. True. So it's an opportunity for me. I mean, I'm young. I'm 30. I'll be 32 in tomorrow.
Yeah. Well,
so for me,
happy birthday.
To miss this opportunity, like I'm super heavily hedged in this because I understand the space. I'm doing very well. And for me to look back in 10 years from now and know what this currency did or the space, and to know that I have missed it and not leveraged myself properly, I would hate myself for a long time.
Yeah, I'll be dead.
Because there's no way for me to make the amount of money I can do and have done in the time that I could do it anywhere else.
JS and I already hate you, so you got to step up.
I'll be dead in 10 years, so it doesn't really matter.
They're just jealous. Don't worry about it.
And I was lucky. I mean, me and John started talking about crypto in 2014 with OneCoin, and that's what kind of got us into it. And I've been in the space for a long time, so I've seen a lot of stuff. But to miss this opportunity, I don't think it's ever too late. I mean, $100,000 Bitcoin could be in the next 6 months. That's what's crazy. People don't understand it.
I got some of the
concrete
wheels from the Aleutian Islands. Those coins, they're hard to keep around, but I think they've gone up. One's worth about $8 now.
Well, let me just interject here for just a minute. We got about 2.5 minutes to go for this broadcast to close up on YouTube and Facebook. So if anyone out there on Facebook or YouTube has any questions before we wrap this up, please leave them in the comment section. I can bring them right up on stage here. Other than that, I want to thank everybody who's here in the chat at Get Vocal. We've got Steve, Nazim, I see Carlos and Badges and Don.
What's
and
up,
a couple
Carlos?
others. We've got Gabe and Elizabeth. I appreciate all
Gabe,
you.
what's up, brother?
We missed one. We got Robert in the house as well. So thanks for sticking around through this entire broadcast. I appreciate all your support, and especially my guests, John and JJ and Alex and JS, for coming on the show today. I do appreciate all your time. So anything from all you guys? Let's go around the table here. We'll go to John and then down to JS and over to JJ. Give us your last words on this before.
Yeah, I've got a hard stop at 10. I got a conference call. So thank you very much, Leland, for inviting us on. Remember, Libra, at least for now, is a payment platform, no different than like an Amazon gift card in the beginning, and not a true cryptocurrency.
That's right. Yeah. JS?
Don't do drugs and stay in school.
I had a feeling he was going off to third base somewhere over there. JJ, I know you came in late on this and you missed a lot, but I hope some of you go back and watch the replay if you haven't. But you being in the space, being able to make millions in BTC as you have over the years, tell us, in the end, is Libra a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's great. I mean, anything that brings more exposure to crypto for those that are invested is a great thing. We'll see what ends up coming of it. But yeah, more exposure is a good thing for everyone that's in the space. And to say, yeah, like JS said earlier, don't invest anything you can't afford to lose. It's no different than the normal market. But by the same token, if you really take a deep dive into what crypto is, the space and the technology behind it, I think you'd be remiss if you didn't at least.
Well, again, study the numbers, because if you look at the way, say, for example, the venture capitalists are working their space right now, they know that they're going to lose on 19 out of 20 deals. It's that 20th deal that just gives them, 30,000% back on their money. So,
but that's life. I mean,
that's kind of, I think, a good rationale type of thinking for dealing with the crypto market. And John, what were those two countries? Are they Monaco and Liechtenstein?
Singapore and Brunei.
yeah.
Singapore and Brunei.
Oh, and Brunei.
Yeah, I hear Singapore's kicking right now.
I thought
All right,
Liechtenstein had a solid something behind their currency.
That I met with the Central Bank of Singapore, and he's the one that told me that fact. The MAS in Singapore. It was a great meeting. They're proponents of crypto.
Denmark, don't they back up their currency with kippers?
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, guys, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and leave these seats so I can wrap up this broadcast today. Again,
see you guys.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
JS, see you, buddy.
Take care.
All right, take care, everyone. Okay, back to it. This is going to wrap up for today. JS is still bopping his squares.
I can't get out of here.
I can get you out of there, I think. There we go. Okay, we've sent JS packing. This once again has been Leland Best out at BCB Live, coming to you from Get Vocal on my Facebook page at Leland Best Live, or out at YouTube at best@youtube.com. So come check out our next broadcast out here. I'll be live next Monday, July 1st at 12 p.m. Eastern doing Wake Up West Coast. It's lunchtime. Season 3 starts off with our first episode next Monday. So come on by, check it out. I'm out of here. We'll see you in the next broadcast. Take care.